Hello everyone, welcome to this video. We'll be discussing about a very important Sebi circular framework for ESG debt securities other than the green debt securities, right? So this is basically a ESG related circular. ESG stands for environment, social governance. I have been continuously telling you guys that ESG is one of the topic that can be very important for your upcoming RBI grade B or Sebi grade A examination, right? So let's start the video. If you are preparing for your RBI grade B examination 2025, you can check out our course and you can start your journey with us. You can also download the Oliveboard application and there you will be getting all the PDFs related to all the YouTube sessions. You can also start practicing by downloading the previous year questions from our website, from our application. You can also watch the previous year questions. And today at Wednesday, 8 p.m. I'll be also taking a PYQ session related to finance, and rest of the sessions related to PYQ are already there on the live section on our YouTube channel. So do watch them, right? So first, let's discuss about the background. Let's discuss about the applicability. If you don't know the full form of ESG, it is environment, social governance. It is environment, social governance, right? So in India, the framework of ESG is governed by Sebi. Sebi has released a BRSR framework, Business Responsibility and Sustainability Reporting. That's the framework that Sebi has introduced in India if I talk about ESG, right? In this particular circular, it is only related to ESG debt securities. This particular circular is only related to ESG debt securities. Now, what do you guys mean by debt? We do have two terminologies, debt and equity. Now, equity is nothing but shareholders. They are the owners of the business. However, if I talk about debt securities, they are fixed interest bearing securities, right? These are fixed interest bearing securities. We paid dividend on equity. However, on debt, on bonds, we do pay interest, right? So if a company is issuing ESG debt securities, let's suppose a company, Pratik Limited, that's my company. So Pratik Limited is either listing or is in the process of listing ESG debt securities. So let's suppose I'm listing some ESG debt securities of my company, or I am maybe in the process of listing, or I'm just proposing for the listing of ESG debt security, then definitely this particular circular I need to apply. And there are so many companies nowadays who are listing or in the process of listing their ESG debt securities, right? However, in ESG debt securities, we need to exclude the green debt securities. Okay. What do you mean by that? Look, this framework will be applicable on social bonds, sustainable linked bonds, but not on green debt securities. Now, there are so many terminologies here. And from your examination point of view, you need to remember what is green debt securities, what is social bonds, what is sustainable bonds, and sustainability linked bonds. Very important for your examination, these terminologies. Okay, these terminologies are very important. So this circular introduce a operational framework. So this particular circular will be applicable only on social bonds, sustainability bonds, and sustainability linked bonds. This will not at all apply on green debt securities, right? This will not at all apply on green debt security. Collectively, we call them all as ESG debt security. So if I talk about, sir, what is ESG debt security? Then ESG debt security is nothing but a combination of these securities. The first one is green debt securities. Second one is social bonds. Third one is sustainability bonds. And the fourth one is sustainability linked bonds. So if I talk about the second, third and fourth one, this circular is applicable only on these three. This circular will not apply to the green debt security. That is the most important thing, and you need to know the terminologies as well, right? So here we can see that this is applicable on this bonds that we already discussed. Plus, there will be inputs and feedback from industry standard forum as well. Okay, so they need to take the inputs and feedback from industry standard forum as well, right? Now, green debt securities. Why green debt securities are not covered? Because green debt securities are covered under already a separate Sebi guideline. So that's why we are as of now excluding the green debt section, the green debt securities as of now. We are only considering these three securities: social bonds, sustainability bonds and sustainability linked bonds, right? Easy till now. We have just discussed about the applicability of this circular, right? Now, what is ESG debt security? I already told you, it's written in the circular as well. I have pasted all the screenshots as well so that you can also get a feel of the circular, right? I have given you the summary notes, plus these all are the screenshots from the circular itself, right? What are green debt securities that are excluded? So green debt securities are nothing but a kind of debt security issued for raising funds subject to conditions as may be specified by the board. So the board will definitely be giving the conditions for this, right, time to time under certain categories mentioned. So this is defined in regulation 2 subsection A clause Q of the Sebi NCS regulation, right? It is defined under the Sebi NCS regulation here. An issuer desirous of issuing and listing of environment social governance debt security, if the issuer is of the opinion that they need to issue and list the ESG debt securities, then they need to comply with this particular circular here, right? That's what we have discussed till now, right? So this circular will be applicable on environment social governance debt securities labeled as social bonds, sustainability bonds and sustainability linked bonds, right, which are listed or proposed to be listed. So even if you are in the process of listing, this circular will be applicable on you guys as well, right? Labeling criteria and recognized frameworks or debt securities can be labeled as these three only if we can call a bond only if as social, only as sustainability, only as sustainability linked bond if it is eligible, the funds are raised, are used for eligible projects or assets. Let's suppose I have raised 1 crore rupee. So I can only call social, sustainability or sustainability linked bonds only if this particular this 1 crore rupee is being used for eligible projects or asset. Let's suppose I have raised 1 crore rupee and now I am investing with the following principles, with the following purposes, then that will be definitely called either as social, सस्टेनेबिलिटी और सस्टेनेबिलिटी लिंक्ड बॉन्ड्स. इतना सिंपल है. 1 करोड़ रुपए जो आपने यूज किए हैं वो पर्टिकुलर किसी पर्पस के लिए या फिर किसी असेट के लिए आपको यूज करने पड़ेंगे, तभी वो आपके यहाँ पे एलिजिबिलिटी के अंदर फॉल करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं कि 1 करोड़ रुपए यूज करके आप गलत पर्पस के लिए यूज कर रहे हो. नो, यू नीड टू use it for the eligible projects and assets as well that are aligned with ICMA principles, climate bond standards. So these are the global standards, basically these are the global standards and best practices, ASEAN standards, EU standards, or any other Indian financial sector regulatory framework here, that it can be BRSR as well, right? So any Indian financial sector regulators framework. So SEBI's framework here is BRSR. So all this will be definitely valid here. Okay, now let's try to understand the meaning of each and every financial instrument which is being mentioned here. The first one is social bonds. Now as the name says it all, we are using this for a social purpose, for a social cause, right? So a debt instrument used to finance or refinance a social project. Let's suppose there is a social project, I need money for this social project, so I'm taking financing facility or refinancing facility from general public or any particular institution. Then that particular financing activity will be called as financing activity emanating from social bonds. I will be issuing social bonds in this case, right? So here we'll be addressing certain specific social issues, but these issues not exclusively for a target population will be there. So I won't be targeting a particular population, but I'll be using this money for the specific social issues. Now all the specific social issues can be building the basic infrastructure, right? Essential services, affordable housing, employment generation, food securities, and so on. There are a lot of notified by Sebi. Social purposes are there that are notified by the Sebi. So if I am definitely raising money for this stuff, then they will be called as social bonds here. Okay, and that's what is written here as well, right, in the circular. Next is sustainability bonds. Here the purpose is not just social, but a combination of social plus green. A combination of social plus green. Now if I talk about a social bond, then definitely the purpose can be to finance the social projects. So examples can be like affordable housing, right, education access bond. However, if I talk about the sustainability, that will be always in a mix of social plus green purpose. Okay, so the purpose will be of two kinds, green plus social. So let's suppose building a green school bond, or maybe it's related to public transportation plus housing bond, or maybe it can be water purification, which is a green purpose, and education bond, which is a social purpose. So it can be water purification and education bond, right? So it will definitely focus on two things rather than just the social. It will focus on social as well as green, right? So it's a combination of green and social projects, and it must follow the conditions that are applicable on both green bonds as well as social bonds, right? So both the conditions need to be followed here. Next is sustainability linked bonds. Now that's another thing, right? First we learned about what are green bonds, then we discussed about what are basically your social bonds, then sustainability. Now it is sustainability linked bonds. So sustainability linked bonds are nothing but it's not tied to a specific project. Instead, it is linked to a company's ESG related performance target. Okay, so somewhere or the other it is linked to the company's ESG goal only. So debt instruments that are linked to the issuer's ESG goal, it is linked to my ESG goal, right? Terms vary based on the meeting specific sustainability KPIs and sustainability performance targets, which are also called in short form as SPTs, right? Now let's suppose if a cement company issues a SLB, sustainability linked bond, where the interest reduces by 0.5% if it cuts the CO2 level emission by 20% in the next 3 years. Now that can be an example of carbon reduction SLBs, sustainability linked bond, because I am a cement company and definitely I'll cut interest rate by 0.5% if it cuts CO2 emission by 20% in the next 3 years. So what I did here is I have linked the debt instrument to my ESG goals, to my particularly ESG goals, right? Me specific things, me specific environmental issues. So that's why it's a sustainability linked bond, and that's what the core difference is between the 3-4 items, right? So my suggestion is to please do prepare these words: social bonds, sustainability linked bonds, and green bonds from the descriptive angle as well. There are high chances that you can get a simple question: describe the following green bonds, sustainability linked bonds, sustainable bonds, and social bonds, right? So you need to prepare yourself from that angle as well, descriptive angle as well. Sure, I'll definitely I'll also try to bring some of the videos on this these particular bonds, descriptive related videos in my coming sessions, right? So the classification of debt, whether to classify it on social, on sustainability basis or sustainability linked basis, will totally depend, will be totally determined by the issuer based on the primary objective. So what issuer's primary objective is all about, it's nothing but dependent on that primary objective, the classification thing, right? Then in the circular there are so many disclosure requirements that they have stated. So you can definitely after this session have a quick reading of this disclosure requirements as well, right? Just a quick reading. Then there is one more important thing is independent third party reviewer or certifier's requirement. you need to appoint an independent reviewer. So there is a third party review requirement here. The appointment must be independent. That means there is no conflict of interest with the third party. Must have relevant ESG expertise. Obviously, if the concerned person will not have the adequate ESG expertise, then how he will be able to review your things, right, related to ESG? How they will be able to review your compliance related to ESG if they are not themselves not the expert of the subject, right? So there are some of the requirements as well. So expected reviewer forms, second party opinion, verification, certification, scoring, ESG rating provider registered with Sebi is also eligible here, right? So there is a need for independent third party reviewer as well here. Then key obligations of the issuer. Let's suppose I have issued a social bond, right? I have issued a sustainability linked bond. Then what are my key obligations? So decision making and fund use. I need to maintain eligibility evaluation system. My system should be very much robust here, right, regarding the eligibility. And I need to use the funds, need to use the proceeds that I am getting. Let's suppose I get 1 crore in funding. So I can only use for the stated purpose, for the earlier decided purpose. Let's suppose I have raised 1 crore rupee for social purpose. Now I need to use it for the social purpose only, and that is my obligation. I cannot deviate from my promise, right? Purpose washing safeguards. What do you mean by purpose washing? Which can wash the entire purpose, which can completely destroy the entire purpose. So these kind of purpose washing things should not happen. That's why they have clearly mentioned about the safeguards as well. You need to avoid misleading labels, right? You must quantify the negative externalities as well. Disclose if misutilization is discovered. If any kind of misutilization is there, let's suppose in from this 1 crore rupee, 20 lakhs I have invested for some other purpose rather than social issues, right? So I need to clearly disclose this 20 lakh amount, because this is a kind of misutilization, right? May need early redemption upon investors approval, and there are so many things here in the responsibility side of the issuer. I need to maintain a decision making process. All the projects, assets and proceeds should be utilized for the stated purpose only. That's a compulsion. Continuous monitoring should happen, not to utilize the funds for objectives rather than the stated objectives, right? And if you are doing that, please do state it timely, on a timely basis, right? Maintain highest standards. Quantify the negative externalities associated with the utilization of funds. Not to make untrue claims by giving false impressions, and there are so many restrictions as well. It's not like that you can easily use this particular money for some other purpose. No, that's not possible. You will be definitely facing high amount of intervention here. Special provisions for MSME issuer. So if you are a SME, small and medium enterprise issuer, if you are a SME, then in that case, in case of SMEs, issuing the ESG debt must follow the biannual disclosure norms from the annexure A and B. So there are annexure A and B. You need to follow it biannual disclosure norms. You need to disclose biannually the things that are stated in the annexure A and B. And Sebi's green debt master circular. So there is Sebi's other master circular related to green debt as well. You need to also follow that as well. And this particular circular is effective on or after 5th of June 2025, right? So that's what is being stated here. And the rest I have given you the differences here of, just give me a second. Yeah. So here we are having the differences of what is green bond, what is social bond, what is sustainability bond, and what is sustainability linked bond. Though I have already explained you each and everything, still I have given these particular differences एक tabular format में, ताकि आपको यहाँ पे याद रखने में थोड़ा easy हो. Please do remember these differences. These are very, very important, both from your objective and your descriptive perspective, right? So green bonds, they do have an environmental impact is a primary focus. In social bonds, we do have social impact focus. Sustainability bonds, we do have both the focus of environmental and social. and sustainability linked bonds, we do have a ESG linked business targets. So we try to link the impact with whatever our business model is all about, right? So I have given you an example of cement bonds, right? Cement company earlier when we were discussing about the same, right? So this is all guys for today's session. Thank you so much for attending. Do definitely read the Sebi circulars as well that I am frequently bringing, because not just the RBI circulars are important, Sebi circulars are equally important for your RBI grade B examination and for your Sebi grade A examination. Thank you so much. मिलते हैं किसी और वीडियो के अंदर. बाय बाय, टेक केयर.